Classic TV lovers, this is a heartbreaking tribute to the biggest primetime soap opera in television history. Dallas. I'm David, and today I'm remembering 7 beloved Dallas actors who tragically passed away, from the iron-willed Jock Ewing to the legendary JR himself. Hit that subscribe button right now and ring the bell so you never miss a single tribute. Larry Hagman, J.R. Ewing. Larry Hagman, born Larry Martin Hagman on September 21, 1931, in Fort Worth, Texas, became a household name when he played the greedy oil boss J.R. Ewing on Dallas. His mother was the Broadway star Mary Martin, but Larry built his own name first on I Dream of Jeannie from 1965 to 1970, playing a kind astronaut. When Dallas started in 1978, J.R. was a small side role, but Larry made the character so compelling that the writers rebuilt the show around him for 14 seasons.
Really? Oh, Mary Lee, I see you and Jamie have made up. Planning a little midnight swim later?
Shut up, JR.
Jamie, you sure found yourself some prime company.
The biggest moment came on November 21, 1980, when 83 million Americans watched to find out who shot JR, a show sold to over 90 countries. He didn't just play a villain, he created a blueprint for every TV antagonist that followed. Even at the height of JR's fame, Larry remained a humble student of acting, always searching for new ways to surprise the audience. He spent hours studying the psychology of greed to make JR feel like a real person rather than a cartoon. This dedication is why the world continued to be fascinated by him for decades. But behind the scenes, JR's drinking became Larry's real battle. And in 1995, he had a life-saving liver transplant. After that, Larry stopped drinking for good and spent years encouraging others to become organ donors. In real life, Larry was the sweetest man on set. Married to his wife, Major Axelson, for 59 loving years. In 2012, he returned for the Dallas revival while battling throat cancer, and he passed away on November 23, 2012, at age 81. The writers wrote JR's funeral into the story so fans could finally say goodbye. Jim Davis, Jock Ewing. Jim Davis, born Marlon Davis on August 26, 1909, in Edgerton, Missouri, grew up poor and worked as an oil field worker and truck driver before acting. He spent nearly 30 years as a working cowboy actor in over 100 low-budget westerns. But he never became a big star. The grit and toughness he learned in the oil fields stayed with him, giving him a natural authority that couldn't be taught in acting school. He lived a life of hard work and anonymity long before the world ever knew his name. When Dallas began in 1978, the producers cast the 69-year-old Jim as Jock Ewing, the powerful father who built the Ewing empire. For the first time, Jim became a global star, and fans in 90 countries fell in love with the iron-willed Jock. He never let the sudden fame go to his head, remaining the same humble farm boy from Missouri until the very end. His presence gave the show a grounded, authentic feel that made the Ewing empire feel real to millions. But while the show thrived, Jim was secretly suffering from multiple myeloma, a painful blood cancer. By late 1980, he looked thinner and paler on screen, yet he kept working because he loved the job. He refused to let his illness stop him from delivering the performance of a lifetime. His courage on set inspired his co-stars to push through their own challenges. On April 26, 1981, Jim Davis passed away at age 71 during the show's run. The writers invented the Jock's Will storyline and sent the character off in a helicopter crash in South America. Jim left behind his wife Blanche Hammerer of over 40 years, proving it's never too late for a dream to come true. Barbara Belle Geddes, Miss Ellie Ewing. Barbara Belle Geddes, born October 31, 1922, in New York City, grew up in a famous family as the daughter of stage designer Norman Bell Geddes.
When you know why you're doing something that's bad for you and when you first started doing it.
She started on Broadway at 18 and became a Hollywood star in 1948 with an Oscar nomination for I Remember Mama, later appearing in Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo. In 1978, she was cast as Miss Ellie Ewing, the soft heart of the Ewing family, winning the Emmy for Best Lead Actress in 1980. Her portrayal of Miss Ellie became the gold standard for the matriarch role in television history. She brought a quiet dignity to the screen that balanced the chaos of the Ewing family's greed. Thus, she had a rare ability to convey deep love and disappointment with just a single look. This emotional depth made her the moral compass that every viewer trusted. In 1983, Barbara suffered a heart attack and needed bypass surgery, forcing her to leave the show. She was replaced by Donna Reed, but fans were so angry they wrote thousands of complaint letters. In 1985, Barbara bravely returned to the show to a massive audience welcome. She finally retired in 1990 due to failing health, moving to a farmhouse in Maine. Even in her final years, she spoke of her Dallas co-stars with a warmth that proved the bonds they formed were genuine. She found peace in the quiet of nature, far away from the flashing lights of Hollywood. This solitude allowed her to reflect on a career defined by grace and kindness. On August 8, 2005, Barbara Belle Geddes passed away at age 82 from lung cancer, leaving behind 2 daughters. Tell me in the comments, did Miss Ellie remind you of your own mother or grandmother? Donna Reed, Miss Ellie. Donna Reed, born Donna Belle Mullinger on January 27, 1921, in Denison, Iowa, grew up on a farm before moving to California for college. She made movie history playing Mary Hatch in It's a Wonderful Life and won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in From Here to Eternity. From 1958 to 1966, she starred in The Donna Reed Show, becoming America's favorite TV mom. After a 20-year break to raise her children, she returned to TV in 1984 to replace Barbara Belle Geddes as Miss Ellie. However, fans disliked the change, and when Barbara returned in 1985, the producers fired Donna without warning. Donna bravely sued the producers for breaking her contract and won a settlement reported to be over $1 million. She proved that behind the smiling, perfect housewife image was a woman of incredible strength and steel. Her legal victory became a symbol of empowerment for actors fighting against unfair studio practices. She refused to be a victim, showing the world that dignity is more important than a paycheck. This fight redefined her legacy from a sweet mom to a fearless warrior. Just months after her legal win, doctors told her she had pancreatic cancer. On January 14, 1986, Donna Reed passed away at age 64, leaving behind her 4 children after a heartbreaking final year. She faced her final days with the same quiet courage she had shown in the courtroom. Her life ended in a whirlwind of legal victory and personal tragedy. Kercheval, Cliff Barnes. Ken Kercheval, born Kenneth Marine Kercheval on July 15, 1935 in Wolcottville, Indiana, studied drama at Indiana University. He spent 15 years as a respected Broadway actor and took small roles in films like The 7-Ups before finding real fame. In 1978, Dallas cast him as Cliff Barnes, the jealous enemy of J.R. Ewing. Ken and Larry Hagman were the only 2 actors to appear in every single one of the 357 episodes. His ability to play the lovable loser made Cliff Barnes the emotional anchor for viewers who felt like underdogs in their own lives.
Percent deposit you had to give the government.
You suggesting I get out?
Well, I'm telling you that a $32 million loss.
He remained a pillar of support for the cast, bridging the gap between the different generations of actors. He often used his theater background to help his co-stars find the right rhythm in their scenes. This generosity made him one of the most respected men on the South Fork set. Behind the camera, Ken and Larry were close best friends who laughed about the fake hatred fans believed was real. Life was difficult off-screen. Ken was a lifelong smoker and was diagnosed with lung cancer in 1994. He bravely continued acting and returned for the 2012 Dallas revival. He never let the illness dampen his spirit or his passion for the craft. Even when he struggled to breathe, he never struggled to make his audience smile. After a long illness, Ken Kercheval passed away on April 21, 2019, at age 83 from pneumonia in Indiana. When Larry Hagman died in 2012, Ken reportedly whispered, "I lost my best enemy." Howard Keel, Clayton Farlow. Howard Keel, born Harold Clifford Keel on April 13, 1919 in Gillespie, Illinois, grew up in poverty after his father died when he was 11. He worked as a singing waiter and factory worker before being discovered on the London stage in Oklahoma. MGM signed him, and he became the king of 1950s musicals in films like 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. By the 1960s, musicals faded and Howard was selling real estate just to pay his bills. He endured years of silence, wondering if his voice would ever be heard by a crowd again. This period of struggle only made his eventual return more meaningful. In 1981, Dallas offered him the role of Clayton Farlow, Miss Ellie's second husband, making him famous for a new generation. His deep, commanding baritone voice brought a sense of peace and strength to South Fork that the Ewing family desperately needed. He brought a classic Hollywood elegance to the show that reminded viewers of the golden age of cinema. He treated every scene as if it were a musical performance, filling the room with his magnetic energy. This revival led to sold-out concert tours across the UK and several best-selling albums in his later years. It was a poetic victory for a man who had once been forgotten by Hollywood, proving that true talent never truly fades. Howard was married to his third wife, Judy Magamal, for 34 years and had 4 children. On November 7, 2004, he passed away at age 85 from colon cancer in Palm Desert, California. Tell me in the comments which Howard Keel song or movie still gives you goosebumps after all these years. Dack Rambo. Jack Ewing. Dack Rambo, born Norman J. Rambo on November 13, 1941, in Earlemont, California, grew up with his identical twin brother, Orman. In 1962, movie star Loretta Young spotted them at church and helped them enter acting. The twins became teen heartthrobs, but in 1967, Dirk was killed in a car crash at age 25, leaving Dack heartbroken.
For 2 months shooting and just got back last week, and we're out shooting in 112 degrees.
The loss of his twin brother left a hole in his heart that he tried to fill with the love of his fans and his craft. He carried that grief quietly, using his acting as a way to cope with the silence left behind. This deep sadness gave his later performances a haunting, emotional quality. He rebuilt his career in the 1970s and 1980s, eventually joining Dallas in 1985 as Jack Ewing, the Alaskan cousin. However, Dack was hiding a secret. He was gay in an era where coming out could end a career. In 1991, he was forced to leave acting after being diagnosed as HIV positive. Dack bravely told the world about his status, becoming one of the first major actors to openly share his diagnosis to fight the shame of the disease. Despite the tragedy, Dack's courage helped break the silence for countless others who were suffering in secret during the height of the epidemic. He transformed his final years of pain into a powerful lesson of honesty and dignity for the entire world. He spent his last days surrounded by the peace of the California countryside, finally free from the secrets he had carried. He left behind a legacy of bravery that proved the human spirit is stronger than any illness. Though he left us too soon, Dack Rambo will always be remembered as a man who chose truth over fear. On March 21, 1994, Dack Rambo passed away at age 52 from AIDS-related complications at his family ranch. 7 unforgettable legends, 7 heartbreaking goodbyes, but their South Fork magic will live forever in every rerun, every memory, and every fan's heart around the world. If this tribute touched you, smash that like button, share it with a fellow Dallas fan, and subscribe right now so we can honor more classic TV legends together.